skies for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Wow, Abigail. You know that still brings a little tear to my eye.
Indeed.
So think about this. First of all, welcome to We Are a Crotchety Old Man,
And a woman.
the podcast for you, with you, and sometimes even about you. So a week ago, we had a different president.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, it's been a while. So much has happened. And we're going to try to go over that, but that Carrie Underwood's, like, literally, it looks bad. You know, the music wasn't working, and she's just like, I'm going to do it. I'll just sing it. No problem. And then she asked people to help her out, and bam!
What I wouldn't have given to be in the Capitol that day.
And by the way, Kamala didn't even mouth the words. She was upset. How much would it have just cost her to have Beyonce actually go and actually sing? Carrie Underwood did it for free.
Yeah.
Oh.
She did it for her country.
Yep. Well, speaking of country, before we go into all of that, useless information time. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Since it was the inauguration, 2 former presidents claimed they had saw UFOs. Jimmy Carter and then Ronald Reagan.
Wow.
Yeah, Jimmy Carter said when before he was even governor, he said he saw it in 1969, and Ronald Reagan said he saw it twice. He saw it at two different times. So that's
When he was out in California?
Yes. So who knew? Useless information that 2 former. I wonder if Trump's going to do anything about that. Are we going to actually know? Is he going to release documentation?
Mm-hmm.
So
I think he will.
So I was a total nerd and watched basically the entire inauguration from, what was it, like 6:30 a.m. till whenever, after midnight, watching him cut the cake with the sword dancing around. That was pretty freaking funny. That man, oh my God. I mean, I was exhausted. I can imagine what he felt.
I would say he ran a lot more gas than you usually do.
Yes, and I am an expert on gas. So, oh, that's gross, Abigail. Anyway, so what did we have? So we had the inauguration. That was the full day. He signed a whole bunch of executive orders. He goes to the Cap Center, where, so he actually goes to an arena, has another event. He had 2 at the Cap Center. He had 2 events. One before it was inaugurated and one after. Mm-hmm. And he signs executive orders while he's on the floor of the Cap Center. Then he goes back to the White House and signs even more executive orders.
Yeah, I mean, at Capital One, he even threw the markers into the crowd. It was just classic.
It was good.
And when he introduced Barron gets up there like the big freaking stud.
Yes.
I mean, the kid exuded confidence.
And
he's going to be just like his father.
I think he's going to exceed his father because, I mean, with his mother's influence, I mean, you could just see, like, he knows how to read the room already. The kid's what, 18, maybe 19 years old, 6'7", and he's like looking around. He goes to NYU, so he could have went to any other college, and he went to one of the I don't know if Berkeley or if NYU is the most liberal college out there, and he goes there. So he's going to be like, any professor is going to give him shit every single day. And he speaks like 4 or 5 languages. Mm-hmm. I barely speak English. That's right. That's right. Thanks, rude. Yeah, so Barron was fun. And then now they're talking about how tall he is, which is pretty amazing that he's 6'7". Like, when you see people who are like 7'2", 7'3", and there he is at 6 foot gold. That was
But
incredible.
Trump was amazing. I mean, he took all those questions from the reporters that night
Yep.
before he went off to the balls. And, you know,
Use that balls.
over 48 hours, he took more questions from reporters than Joe Biden did in 4 years.
He does, and he keeps going. I mean, even today, they were talking like he's still talking about the wildfires. I mean, he's in Reno. He just did a thing on tax on tips. He's getting his agenda done. He's getting the little stuff and big stuff done at the same time, which is great. And he explains why. He doesn't just do something and then just lets it go for the pundits. He himself is doing it. But we also, during the week, I mean, it was indoors and people were, the pundits on the left are just annoying. I mean, I guess they have to do it. But, when it was so freaking cold out, and he being Trump was saying, yeah, we did it inside. Maybe we should continue to do it inside. It's better for I mean, I did miss, him going down the street. I did miss, all the, all the crowds and everything else, but it was safe. It was beautiful. The acoustics were awesome, as you just heard Carrie Underwood. I liked it indoors.
Well, I was at work, so I barely got to listen to the speech. I intend to go back and watch it in full, but he seemed a little feisty.
He did, and people were not mocking him. They were complaining that it was more like a State of the Union. But it was great, in my personal opinion, because he was basically saying, I got 4 years. This is what I am going to do for the American people for the next 4 years. If I do it right, great. And if I do it wrong, hold me responsible and me alone. But so he laid out everything. I mean, some things he was shooting for the moon, but but at the other thing, actually shooting for Mars, he's putting that out there. And nothing was too small. I mean, even when he was talking about Greenland, but where he's having conversations with Denmark today about Greenland. Can you imagine if he brings that? Promises kept in only less than a week. The Panama Canal's a little crazy, but yeah, that's a whole other area. What was your favorite part of just the inauguration itself, from what you saw and what you heard?
Well, unfortunately, I didn't see much because, as I said, I was at work. I guess the Carrie Underwood moment was special. I liked, when I did hear part of the speech, he was really sticking it to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
In front of them.
And I really enjoyed that.
Which was good. He gave multiple speeches that day. I think he gave 4 or 5. Like, that's amazing. And some of them were different. Like, then after that, he goes out and visits some supporters, also at the Capitol. And he was, and also slightly different. He was funnier. He was talking about how cold it was and how freezing it was, waiting for the helicopter. Which reminded me, I was looking at some memes. Yes, I am a nerd. I was looking at some memes on X, and they were like, well, all those people who said hell would freeze over before Donald Trump becomes president again, and everything, pretty much half the country is frozen over. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny, and he's the president. Even Florida got snow. Did you see that?
Yes.
Did you see the alligator who was
No.
frozen? Like, his little nose is out of the water, so he's breathing, but he's completely frozen.
Wow.
Yeah, cool stuff. I mean, 5 inches in Louisiana of snow. Yeah, and they don't have many salt trucks in Florida, so they were using their hands and throwing salt on the ground on the highways. Good stuff. So that was the beginning. We now have people being not sworn in, but voted on in the Senate. You got Pete Hegseth. I thought that was a disgrace by the Republicans. He passed. He got the 50 votes. And then J.D. Vance had to break the tie so he could become Secretary of State. We had Mitch McConnell.
No, not Secretary of State.
I'm not Secretary of Defense.
Yes.
Sorry. I was just thinking about Mitch McConnell, big dick. And then you had the two.
Whoa.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I think he's worried about losing all the money that he has made all those years. Then you had the two ladies, Collins and Markowski. By the way, they voted for every Democrat nominee when Joe Biden came into office. Just become Democrats, okay? Just become Democrats already. Which reminds me, Fetterman. The guy's a freaking comedian at this point. He goes to the inauguration in shorts and a sweatshirt. Like, hey man, what's going on? How you doing? Like, it was like, that's a senator, but he might switch parties, which would also.
I still think it's a disgrace that he can't get dressed up like most human beings would.
He has to only when he speaks on the floor. That's I'm sorry, when he enters the chambers now. That's the only time he has to.
So what does he do? Take them off?
Yes. He has a suit in his office.
Okay, so once he enters the chamber floor.
Then he has his suit on. He wears a full suit and tie. And so that was good. But the Hexa thing, I mean, I think he could be amazing. And you know how the Democrats love firsts? You know, he's the first Marine. He's the first like non-general to have this post in I think a long time. There was others early on, but like he's just a war fighter. I mean, he's got Purple Hearts. He got shot. You know, he earned it. He's got a Bronze Star. So the people love him. You know, the guys he served with know him. They love him. But then you got Marco Rubio, who got 99% of the vote.
Yes, he did.
So who's the one holdout against them?
I don't know.
I didn't hear. Because, by the way, did you even know that these are secret ballots?
No.
And it's only like when they come out, if they want to say like Markowski and them, they actually said that they didn't vote for him. But they actually do it all in secret. So there's one person in the entire Senate who didn't vote.
Yeah, so overall, I think all of his picks are going to get confirmed.
Yep.
The big thing for me was him going after the violent, illegal aliens.
How great is that already?
And, I mean, it began on day one.
Yeah.
As he promised.
Yep. He shut down the border immediately. As soon as he was sworn in, he signed the order. Probably, I don't even know where he was. They probably ran it up to him. He signed it before he even got downstairs. You know, it was amazing.
And then he abolished DEI.
Awesome.
That's going to take a little while to root out, but
yep,
it will happen.
You know, I even right now, my basement CC coffee, that stands for cocoa and coffee, tastes even better today. Tastes like freedom.
Everything's a better day now that he's in office. I
have smiled every freaking day, you know, and so that, you know, even Kristi Noem got through it pretty easily. That was shocking. So before we go into to our next thing about the questions for Abigail, and I have picked 3 questions for her. We might have a little apology.
Yes, I do have an apology.
Okay.
I regret that I made fun of the game, of the card. So, Mrs. Alfred, I apologize.
Nice. And speaking of Mrs. Alfred, her the little Chinese immigrants are back. The little pandas. Notice Trump becomes president. Pandas are back. They're looking at him like, I don't like them. They're spies. Everyone, I guarantee somewhere there's like some microchip that has like a barcode because everyone's taking pictures of them with their cameras, and the cameras are going to hit that little microchip, and bam, Chinese have control of all of your cameras.
Well, and there seems to be a panda cam.
Panda cam!
A panda cam, so Mrs. Alfred can watch those pandas anytime she wants.
Hey, well, you have a Toto and Benji cam.
I do.
Yes, when you go away.
Oh yes, I do have a Dodo and Benji cam.
Which it's hilarious. You'll see Abigail just sitting on the couch, just watching her dogs when she's away. She'll be in the pool on a floaty with her cell phone, just watching her dogs. She'll have a margarita in one hand, you know, and like everyone's dancing around, and she's looking at her dogs.
Those 2 are my babies.
They are. But can they answer these 3 questions? So the first question. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
What is your go-to karaoke song?
Well, first of all, I don't do karaoke.
Okay, singing in the shower.
I don't sing in the shower.
Okay, there's no song that you sing when you're all alone, where no one can hear you.
Not really. But if I had an anthem, I always liked Eye of the Tiger. Does that make you laugh? Don't spit your coffee out.
It did actually. I almost did spit my coffee out.
And that's by Survivor.
Eye of the tiger, it's the feel of the
I
night.
told you don't sing.
Every time I do that, I almost go into my Eric Cartman voice. Anyway, next question. What is something you hate that everyone else loves? And I know it's not my Eric Cartman voice, because you actually love that.
What do I hate that everyone loves? Jelly.
Really? Oh, that's right. Okay, Abigail does not like any warm fruit. It's like she hates pies that have fruit in them. And so I guess that would also go with jelly.
Yep.
Very odd. Very odd. My mom was going to serve some nice hot apple pie. Abigail was like, ew, gross. Like she was like 3. It was disgusting. My mom was like, oh my dear. It was so bad.
I told you never to do that.
Man, my mom was on her high horse that day. Anyway, question number 3. If you were invisible, if you were invisible for a day, what is the first thing you would do?
Walk into the Oval Office and watch Donald Trump.
Wow, that's a pretty interesting idea. Wow, most people would like try robbing banks or doing something like that.
No.
Give high fives to people that
I'm
you
a
don't know.
patriot.
Nice. I would probably like start skating in Madison Square Garden in a hockey game. Just hit the defensive players. They'd be like, what the hell hit me?
But we didn't ask you the question.
I know. That's why.
So,
All right. So that was the 3 questions. But we're not done with our questions. I know it's been a long week. There's been a lot of Trump information. Are you ready for Ask the Magical Trump Orb? And it doesn't, by the way, it doesn't have to be political. So this can be anything. And Abigail just moved our brand new Smells Like Trump 1 candle. Mm-hmm. And it just smells like an ordinary candle. I'm just trying to give it a sniff.
no, it has a smell.
Of what kind of smell is it? Hold on.
It's just kind of.
Does it smell like winning?
You almost burnt your nose
I
hairs off.
could use a singed nose hair. They're growing a little long. All right. So let me get ready. Abigail is ready.
Will Barron Trump.
Hold on. There we go. Will Barron Trump.
Will Barron Trump run for office?
Will Barron Trump run for office?
Not even a little bit. Not even 1%.
Wow.
I don't think Melania is going to allow it.
At least not now. I mean, maybe she'll wait till he's 35 and then he can run for president. Mm-hmm. I actually saw it said Barron 2048. Or is it 40? That's unbelievable.
Okay.
All right.
So, will there be any politicians in sanctuary cities to get locked up because they try to protect the illegals?
That's a good one. Ooh, we'll find out.
I think it's totally ridiculous.
Oh,
that they are. They may get locked up.
Okay.
He's so pissed off that they are, so he couldn't finish the statement.
Oh.
Now
you can smell the candle.
Now you can smell the candle. All right, I have to come up with my one question. I'm going to go a little not political today. Okay. Mm-hmm. Let me see. Are the Washington Commanders going to win tomorrow and make Abigail the happiest girl in the world?
I have no idea.
It's going to be a close game.
Well, thank you, Magical Trump Orb. Wow, so he doesn't know. So he now, if it was the Chiefs, he would just bet on them. By the way, did you read that article about the Chiefs and penalties?
No.
Okay, so it's the most amazing thing. In the last couple years that the Chiefs have played, they have not in every playoff game in the past 3 years, the Chiefs have had much fewer penalties than all of their competition. They actually did records to see that they were the least penalized team in every single game of their playoff run.
I believe it.
And they're just saying that it's a conspiracy that people are saying that they want the Chiefs to just keep winning. And it's amazing. They went back to there was one team that they went back to. It was like 1970. Oh, it was the Miami Dolphins they went back to in the 70s that had an equal run of least penalized games. And so, because they never get penalized. Anyway, that was
Well, Mahomes he's a hell of a quarterback.
Yes.
But he's ridiculous when it comes to these. He intentionally scopes out the defense and entices them to get those penalties. And it's just a bunch of bullshit.
It is.
And it's got to stop.
It does. So if you're a Chiefs fan, I'm sorry. But,
they need to throw a flag and charge them 20 yards.
In the NHL, they actually have a penalty for diving. It's an unsportsmanlike penalty. And so if you take a dive, fake falling down, 2 minutes. How good a penalty is that? Give him 10 yards.
Yep.
Maybe not lost it down. But how do you think the Commanders are going to do tomorrow?
I think it's going to be close, but I do think they're going to pull it out.
Yeah? You think they're going to be able to take out the Eagles?
Yeah.
What time's the game?
3 o'clock.
3 p.m. So is there a game today?
No.
Okay.
Tomorrow's the NFC Championship and the AFC Championship.
Oh, they're doing both.
The winner of each game goes to the Super Bowl.
Okay. I was just confused why they didn't have one game today and one game tomorrow.
Sorry. No, they always do them on the same day.
Oh, I guess that's fair because this way they both have the same amount of rest.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Do you even know where the Super Bowl is played next year?
I think it might be in New Orleans.
Huh.
I could be wrong, though.
I have absolutely no clue. But that would be interesting. So that's as long as
And then the game after, it's going to be the Bills and the Chiefs. And I really want the Bills to finally go all the way.
And win the Super Bowl.
No, not if the Commanders go.
Oh, okay. I got to admit, there's a lot of teams I dislike since I was younger. I mean, the Eagles were always a joke as a kid. The Bills were very good later as a teen. That was in their 90s run. But prior to that,
But they never won it.
I know, but at least they were a joke. And I was a Miami Dolphin fan back in the day. So every time they won, the Dolphins didn't. So I had animosity to them. I didn't like the Redskins growing up because they beat the Dolphins in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And who am I leaving out? There's one more team. The Eagles, I said, no. And the Chiefs. Well, the Chiefs used to be nothing. They were like a non-existent team that just had like a weird bright red uniform.
I was happy for him in the beginning, and Andy Reid, really happy for him.
Yeah.
But the way Mahomes behaves is just not, it's a turnoff.
It is. Now, I don't remember Brady being like that.
No.
No, I mean, even though people called him a pretty boy, he actually took his licks, and but I don't remember. Also today, wanted to talk to you. So I caught Abigail watching a documentary today. What were you watching? Please explain it, because it's
nothing. First of all, you know how on Netflix they get your profile and they show you movies and shows you would be interested in?
Sort of, yeah.
Well, I haven't been on Netflix in probably 8 months. And I turn it on, and there's all these sci-fi shows, wrestling.
Well, the wrestling is a different story, but go ahead.
You name it. And I'm like, who the hell was on my Netflix? Well, I knew who it was.
Toto.
No.
Toto dog.
So I asked Arden, and I said, Arden, did you use my profile? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, really upset. So anyway, I'm going to the documentaries, and there was one called The Flat Earth. And it was about this guy and a bunch of people in a cult, practically, that believes the earth is flat.
Okay, we listened to it while eating dinner, because the whole time I wanted to not just make fun of the guy. I actually wanted them to explain their thoughts on a flat. And so I probably saw the last half of the show. Mm-hmm. And in that half, they never were able to explain that there's a giant dome over the earth They couldn't explain like where it came from or anything else. And their argument was, you have to prove to us the Earth is round. They don't have to prove that. But at the very, 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 very end, and that, spoiler alert, they actually did this laser test.
It was a simple test.
It was a simple test. They had to. It wasn't even that far away. These guys had two 17-foot poles, and there was 3 targets. And if the guy could see the laser beam, they would be still 17, and there would be no curvature of the Earth. I forgot exactly how far. It might have been like 2 miles away, and it didn't work. And then they said, well, this doesn't prove anything. It just proves that maybe our calculations are a little off. But oh my God, it was.
And then it just went to black.
And then it went to black.
The show was over.
It was a whole thing on these people really believing, and like it's every nerd you would think would be at a Star Trek convention was there. Except then, if there was a flat Earth, there wouldn't be a Star Trek because they left the galaxy. So that was pretty odd. But what I was watching the whole Netflix thing. So did you see that all of like there's these people who they may actually win Oscars, like the first transgender actress thing might win an Oscar. Like
You went, I mean,
it was some show on Netflix.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't know because my profile's all changed.
Exactly, because I don't watch that crap. I watch zombies, and I know you're not going to win Best Actor as a zombie. Even though there are some pretty good zombies out there that are good. But staying on the nerd stuff real fast, watching. So I was watching this thing. So I loved all the Marvel movies up until probably 3 years ago.
Okay.
And then I just stopped watching them because they got so woke and so bad. So they've acquired the rights to the Fantastic Four. And, there's been 20th Century Fox had them and stuff. So they made their, or Sony, they made their versions and they were pretty bad. Well, they're making the new one. So I'm like, all right, Disney's finally learned their lesson. They're going to get it right. Nope. They changed the sex of, there's a character called the Silver Surfer.
Right.
Now, Fox, like maybe 15 years ago, made their Fantastic Four with the Silver Surfer.
Right.
It's a dude. Basically, he's got no clothes on at all. And they made it a woman. Like, seriously, you keep doing what we tell you we don't want to watch. So I was pretty happy because I'm going to save $18 and not have to go to the movie theater for that.
I really don't understand why you like to watch children's movies.
They're not for children, actually. They're for adults.
Okay.
The little children can't watch them. They're rated like PG-13 or something like that. Yeah, well, it's because I grew up watching it as a kid. Not as a kid. You couldn't watch those movies.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, did you not watch The Incredible Hulk with Lou Ferrigno as a kid?
Yes, I did as a kid.
Yeah, well, I loved it. It was fun. I went through my whole nerd phase when I was like from 12 to 14. That was my nerd phase. And then I was not a nerd, and then it started coming back, so I watched. I mean, I took you to Deadpool, and you did like it. You actually enjoyed it. Admit it. Say, yes, I enjoyed it.
Yes, I enjoyed it.
See? So there are some ones that are good. But now they're getting really, really shitty and really, really lame, and I'm
Well,
tired
I
of it.
feel bad for you, Arden.
You shouldn't. It's better than British cooking shows or whatever you were watching.
No,
I mean,
I was looking for my British TV shows because they're usually really good.
or their Hallmark Channel movies.
No.
Oh, that's
I
right.
wouldn't know. It'll probably take me forever with Netflix now to get back to the where I had it with my own profile of stuff.
Would you like me to go find them for you?
No,
Just type in
I
British.
just wish you would have used somebody else's.
I had never done that before. I actually didn't know, believe it or not. I haven't had Netflix in 5
I
years.
know, but there was like 5 things you could have chose from, and you chose mine.
It was always the main one.
It's okay, Arden. I forgive you.
Oh, I think.
That's the end of that discussion.
Wow. Okay, let's not talk about Netflix. Good thing she hasn't looked on Amazon Prime yet. Anyway, so what else is going on with you this week? You're getting ready for your big trip pretty soon?
Yes, I'm going to Australia on February 5th.
And that is, wow. how close is that? That's like what?
A week and a half away.
A week and a half.
And it's just going to be Arden and the boys.
Yes, which is going to be pretty freaking hilarious. And are you going away this week? You're to
No, I
North Carolina?
canceled my trip.
Okay,
so
good for you. Good
my,
for you.
My work trip, I canceled it.
Yeah, she was going to head down to North Carolina in the middle of nowhere or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or was it South Carolina? I don't even
I
remember.
don't know either.
I don't know. Anyway, I'm glad that she got away with that. But yeah, so we have to make our plans about our podcast. You know, if you're going to be up at 12 o'clock at night doing it because you're going to be in Australia.
I don't know. We'll see. I never even thought of that.
Yeah, because the
We could
podcast.
do 2 podcasts.
Wow, we're gonna have to figure that out because I'll get the wrong day because it's like a day ahead or a day behind us.
I'm a day ahead. I'll be a day ahead.
Yeah, so I'll be on Saturday and you'll be on Sunday. It would be weird, very strange. Anyway, well, that's all I have for you. What anything on your side? As I just accidentally banged the wall with my hand? That was
No,
ridiculous.
I mean, I'm going to enjoy watching the news again, and each day's going to be an adventure with Mr. Trump in the office.
It should be. It should be. It should be. It should be. But so we need for everyone to follow us on Twitter. We had a great reception last week. What did we have?
Yeah, and I wonder who the host was.
Yes, exactly. We have a great comparison because when I went solo, it was one of our lowest received ones. And when we went international again. How many countries were we in? Like 4 or 5?
I think so. Got somebody from Asia, too.
Yes. So we had our first person from Japan listen last week. So that was kind of fun. And we also, what else did we have? There was a couple in South America. Our friends from Australia did not listen. Your brother listened. Yeah, so that was important. But in the meantime, I keep saying because I'm delaying right now because I cannot find the Carrie Underwood song again. But I just found it. So now I have to make sure I learn how to do this.
All right, everyone.
All right, have a
Good
great
night.
weekend. Follow us at I can't talk during this.
Spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
At Crotchety Old Men. At Crotchety Old Men on Twitter. Thanks, everyone. Have a
Good
great
night.
night.